Many Confederate statues were put up more in an effort of reconciliation of the states than it was to intimidate people.
It is true that some Confederate statues were put up as a part of the reconciliation process after the Civil War. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many Confederate veterans were aging and dying, and their families and communities wanted to honor their sacrifice and remember their service. At the same time, the country was undergoing a period of reconciliation, and some people saw these statues as a way to promote national unity by emphasizing the shared sacrifice of both Union and Confederate soldiers. However, it is important to note that not all Confederate statues were erected for this reason, and many were put up as part of a deliberate effort to intimidate black people and enforce racial segregation. Many of these statues were erected during the Jim Crow era, when Southern states were passing laws that enforced racial segregation and suppressed black voting rights. In many cases, these statues were put up in public spaces like courthouses and town squares, where they served as a constant reminder of the power of white supremacy and the subjugation of black people.
But that's more of a correlation and not causation thing. Just because many of the statues were put up during that time, that doesn't mean it was necessarily for racist reasons. Another thing that was going on during that era was the Civil War generation was dying out, and they wanted to have memories of the fallen men.
You make a good point. While it is true that many of the Confederate statues were erected during the period of Jim Crow segregation laws, it is also true that not all of them were intended to intimidate people or promote racism. Some were erected as memorials to soldiers who died in the Civil War, and some were put up for other reasons, such as to honor prominent figures from Southern history. However, it is important to note that many of these statues were still created during a time when racism was deeply ingrained in American society, and their presence can still be hurtful and offensive to many people today.